Hi everybody, I'm back with another video because I saw this video of Cardi B and on her new album. Cardi B new album. Is it a new album or it's really a new song? Okay, they have it here. And it says Cardi B set to release new song on Friday. According to the entertainment article, it says that Cardi B is ready to make more money moves. And I'm not trying to play that video. We'll be doing copyright strikes when we play videos. But anyway, you see Cardi B has on this I'm not absolutely sure what all the black is, and I always get this wrong and get on my kids' nerves. It's either tiger stripe or leopard stripe. I think it's leopard print with a little poles. But anyway, press release May 31st, which is tomorrow. She's releasing her album. According to her Instagram page. Yeah, and it seems to be causing a stir because she is, I guess, channeling this lady. So I went to Wikipedia and looked up what is the big deal about this lady. I haven't really heard of this lady. So I said, so when I go to Wikipedia, look her up and see what the big deal is about her. And according to the article, it says, I guess her name is Aileen. Aileen. Her last name is pronounced
Wuornos.
Wuornos. So okay, I ain't meant to do all that. Anyway, let me see if I can. Okay. Aileen Wuornos. She apparently an American serial killer who murdered 7 men in Florida between 89 and 90 by shooting them at point blank range. Wuornos claimed that her victim had either raped or attempted to rape her while she was working as a prostitute, and that all of the homicides were committed in self-defense. She was convicted and sentenced to death for 6 of the murders and was executed by lethal injection October 9, 2002. And there is a film called Monster Chronicles in 2003, which is a chronicle of Wuornos' story from childhood until her first murder conviction. It stars Charlize Theron as Wuornos, a performance that earned Theron an Academy Award for Best Actress. I read this article, and it's a very sad article. It's a very sad story. And I think this story is coming out, and I think Cardi B is channeling this lady's, and she's very young It's channeling her life of what happened to women. And I think this is a part of that Me Too movement. According to the article, her childhood, it says Aileen was born in Troy, Michigan in 1956, and she had a Finnish American mother named Aileen Wuornos, who was born in '39, who was 14 years old when she married Aileen's father, who was a 16-year-old Leo Dale Pitton, who was born 37 and died 69 on June 3rd, 54. On June 3rd, 54. She kind of lost in translation there. Because according to this, they said he died 69 on June 3rd, 54. Either he died 69 or he died 54. Anyway, Aileen's older brother, Keith, was born on March 55. And then, after less than 2 years of marriage and 2 months before Aileen was born, Diane filed for divorce. Now, Wuornos never met her father, as he was incarcerated at the time of her birth because he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And I'm familiar with schizophrenia because my grandfather, he too had schizophrenia when he died. And this story kind of takes me back to that, because what happened to Aileen is also what happened to my sister by a grandfather. Now, they said he was later convicted of sex crimes against children and eventually committed suicide by hanging himself in prison in January 1969. Now, in January 1960, which is the year I was born, Wuornos was almost 4 years old. Diane abandoned her children, leaving them with their maternal grandparents. See, this difference is my mother never abandoned us when we had our father. Our father was in the house. Our father was in the house, so we never had that kind of issue. But when my mom and dad worked, we would stay with our maternal grandparents. And which is in our case, my mom was adopted. But anyway, Laurie and Britta Wuornos, who allegedly adopted Keith and Aileen on March 1960 by the age of 11. And Wuornos began engaging in sexual activities in school in exchange for cigarettes, drugs, and food. Now, she had also engaged in sexual activities with her brother. Wuornos said that her alcoholic grandfather had sexually assaulted and beaten her when she was a child. Now, I know my sister was sexually assaulted, but my grandfather never beat her. He never beat her. But she was sexually assaulted, and she suffers from that trauma to this day. And she was raped by an accomplice of her, and she was raped. Okay, wait a minute now. Beating her when she was a child. Before beating her, he would force her to strip out of her clothes. And then in 1970, at age 13, she became pregnant, having been raped by an accomplice of her grandfather. I don't think my grandfather ever had an accomplice with my sister, because she doesn't talk about it, it's just about him. But Wuornos gave birth to a boy at a home for unwed mothers on March 23rd, 71, and the child was placed for adoption. A few months after her son was born, she dropped out of school. That tended to happen at about the same time that her grandmother died of liver failure. When Wuornos was 15, her grandfather threw her out of the house, and she began supporting herself as a prostitute and living in the woods near her old home. So, it was crazy. And anyway, just this story just brings back memories of my sister of what happened to her, and she didn't tell us anything about it. And by the time she confided in me, it had gone on for a few years. And I told my mother, and my mother handled that. And later he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Now, her early criminal activity was in 1974. When she was at 18, she was arrested in Jefferson County for driving under the influence, disorderly conduct, and firing a .22 caliber pistol from a moving vehicle. She was later charged with failure to appear. Then in '76, Wuornos, brain don't keep these pronunciations there.
Wuornos.
Wuornos, hitchhiked to Florida, where she met a 69-year-old yacht club. She was 18. And this 69-year-old man who owns a yacht club, he marries her. His president, Louis Gratz Fell. They married quickly, and the announcement of their nuptials was printed in the local newspaper society pages. But however, Wuornos continually involved herself in confrontations at their local bar and went to jail briefly for assault. She also hit Fell with his own cane. Why in the world an old man with a cane married an 18-year-old girl? An 18-year-old problem child at that, leading him to gain a restraining order against her within weeks of the marriage. She returned to Michigan, where on July 14, '76, she was arrested in Antrim County and charged with assault and disturbing the peace for throwing a cue ball at a bartender's head. Boy, she has a mango issues. But on July 17, her brother Keith died of esophageal cancer, and Wuornos received $10,000 from his life insurance. Wuornos and Fell annulled their marriage on July 21st after only 9 weeks. In August '76, Wuornos was given a $105 fine for drunk driving. She used the money inherited from her brother to pay the fine and spent the rest within 2 months, buying luxuries, including a new car, which she wrecked shortly after. It reminded me of a cousin of mine when his father died. Left him with a car and a lot of money. I think he wrecked the car, almost killing himself in a matter of weeks. And within a year, he would spend, I think it was way more than $10,000. But he spent that, this living reckless. On May 20th, '81, Wuornos was arrested in Edgewater, Florida, for the armed robbery of a convenience store where she stole $35 and 2 packs of cigarettes. So when these things happen to these girls, they just do dumb stuff. She was sentenced to prison on May 4th, '82, and released on June 30th, '83. But on May 1st, '84, Wuornos was arrested for attempting to pass forged checks at a bank in Key West. In November 30th, '85, she was named as a suspect in the theft of a revolver and ammunition in Paso County. January 4th, '86, Wuornos was arrested in Miami and charged with car theft, resisted arrest, and obstruction of justice for providing identification bearing her aunt's name. Miami police officer found a .38 caliber revolver and a box of ammunition in the stolen car. Then June 2nd, '86, Volusia County Deputy Sheriff detained Wuornos for questioning after a male companion accused her of putting a gun in his car and demanded $200. So Wuornos was found to be carrying spare ammunition, and police discovered a .22 pistol under the passenger seat she had occupied. Around this time, Wuornos met Tyrell Moore, a hotel maid at a Daytona Beach gay bar. They moved in together, and Wuornos supported them with her earnings as a prostitute. On June 4th, '87, I just read that. Okay, maybe not. On July 4th, 87, Daytona Beach police detained Wuornos and Moore at a bar for questioning regarding an incident in which they were accused of assault and battery with a bill bottle. On March 12, 88, Wuornos accused of Daytona Beach bus driver of assault. She claimed that he pushed her off the bus following a confrontation. Moore was listed as a witness to the incident up until her execution. Wuornos claimed to be in love with Moore. So, who executed Moore? She was listed as a witness to the incident up until her execution. So, who executed her? Okay. I doubt if Wuornos did it because it wouldn't make sense for her to do it. Like she said, she was in love with the woman. I believe she was because a lot of times women just cannot function with men, especially when they have been completely traumatized, raped, and brutalized by their grandfather as a child and then thrown out to live in the woods like the animals. Anyway, now we get to her murders. The 7 men were killed within a period of 12 months. And this is where the Cardi B things come in. Because I took some pictures of Cardi B. The pictures of Cardi B. And in these pictures I find very fascinating. Let me see if they have a scroll through thing where I can see the pictures. I don't know. Probably. I'll probably have to go to her I'll probably have to go to her Instagram to see these pictures. Yes. So I'm gonna get back to those pictures. Okay. Wuornos. Okay. Richard Mallory, age 51, November 30th, 89, electronics store owner in Clearwater. Wuornos' first victim was a convicted rapist. Now, he was a convicted rapist whom she claimed to have killed in self-defense. Her, her grandfather raped her. When her grandmother died, he threw her out of the house. I think at age 13. So she had to live as a prostitute to take care of herself. And what did she do? Mix up with a rapist, like her grandfather, so she killed him. 2 days later, Volusia County Deputy Sheriff found Mallory's abandoned vehicle on December 13th. His body was found several miles away in a wooded area. He had been shot several times, 2 bullets to the left lung, where were found to have been the cause of death. It was on this murder that Wuornos was initially condemned. She was initially condemned for killing a convicted rapist. Anyway. Secondly, David Spencer, age 43, a construction worker in Wintergreen on June 1st, 90. His naked body was found along Florida State Road 19 in Citrus County. He had been shot 6 times. What are these names? Really? Charles Carr Skadden, age 40, May 31st, 90, part-time rodeo worker, on June 6, 90. His body was found in Paso County. He had been shot 9 times with a small caliber weapon. I guess with the Cardi B, the message might be you're all upset, been out of shape because she drugged, robbed men, and took their money. And then while they're all feeling good, she brings in she brings in a male partner to rape him. I guess this lady kills her money. At least Cardi B men live through it. They live to tell about it, even though they're not telling them, they're not talking about it. So the rodeo guy, I guess this was him. Well, I know what a rodeo is. Anyway, Peter Symes, age 65. This girl loved these old men. It's like she was. It's like she was attracted to her grandfather because that's her first sexual encounter. Then when she get with them, and if she says no or she doesn't want to, they does it anyway or however she kills him. Now he was a retired merchant seaman who devoted much of his time to a Christian outreach ministry. In June 90, Sims left Saeed Sims, how do you pronounce his last name?
Seems.
Sims left Jupiter, Florida for Arkansas. And then on July 4th, 90, his car was found in Orange Springs, Florida. Moore and Wuornos were seen abandoning the car, and Wuornos' palm print was found on the interior door handle. His body was never found. So my thing is this. This is the only body that was never found. They never found his body, but they found those two at the car and her palm on the inside of the car. So did she kill them? Where is his body? She was seen, her and Wuornos. I tell you what, this name right here, it'll be in my head one day. I know I'll figure out how to spell it now. I'd like to figure out how to continue to pronounce it.
Wuornos.
Wuornos was seen abandoning the car. Okay, and the fingerprint was inside the car. I guess it would be inside the car if they abandoned the car. So, next thing, as it says, his body was never found. These numbers are as the Clark County prosecuting attorney archived from the original on September 27, 2008, and retrieved September. So this number just talks a little bit more about the case. Troy Burris, age 50, sausage salesman from Ocala, on July 31st, 90, was reported missing. August 4th, 90, his body was found in a wooded area along State Road 19 in Marion County. He had been shot twice. Okay. Charles Dick Humphreys was 56. September 11th, 90, retired U.S. Air Force Major, former state child abuse investigator. I guess she was just going through these people looking for somebody who could treat her, who could understand. When him being a child abuse investigator, I guess she thought she might get some help here. But let it go on to say, and former chief of police. On September 12, 1990, his body was found in Marion County. He was fully clothed and had been shot 6 times in the head and torso. His car was found in Swansea County. And the last individual was Walter Gino Antonio, age 62, a trucker, security guard, and police reservist. November 1990, Antonio's nearly naked body was found near a remote logging road in Dixie County. Nearly naked body. So what these men undressing and just trying to have sex with her, and she said no, and they wasn't having it, and she killed him. He had been shot 4 times. 5 days later, his car was found in Brevard County. Brevard County. Okay, so was Brevard? This is Dixie. I guess the police department. So a lot of this went down in Florida. Anyway, so these are the 7 men that were murdered by Aileen Wuornos. Anyway, yeah, that last name. Justice system. Now, this is what the justice system. This is how the justice system treat women that are treated of this nature. Okay, on July 4th, 90, Walrus and Moore abandoned Siem's car after they were involved in an accident. I guess that's why they never found his body. Witness who had seen the women driving the victim's car provided police with their names and descriptions, resulting in a media campaign to locate them. Police also found some of the victims' belongings in a pawn shop and retrieved fingerprints matching those found in the victim's car. Wuornos had a criminal record in Florida, and her fingerprints were on file. January 9, 1991, Wuornos was arrested on an outstanding warrant at the Last Resort, a biker bar in Barossa County. Police located Moore the next day in Scranton, Pennsylvania. She agreed to elicit a confession from Wuornos in exchange for immunity from prosecution. Now, Moore returned with the police to Florida, where she was put up in a motel. Under police guidance, she made numerous telephone calls to Wuornos, pleading to help in clearing her name. Okay. 3 days later, on January 16, 1991, Wuornos confessed to the murders. She claimed the men had tried to rape her and she killed them in self-defense. That's one thing. Men do whatever they want to women. But if a woman revenge herself, because this is a man's world, she has no defense. She has no defense. So I'm thinking that's maybe why Cardi B is channeling this woman in her new song. A year later, on January 14, 1992, Wuornos went to trial for the murder of Mallory. Although previous convictions are normally in admission in a criminal trial, according to the justice system, there are no rules. They just whatever they need to convict who they feel is guilty. On the Florida Williams rule, what is the Williams rule? If you're not going to show a little box, I'm not going to, here you go. I'm not going to click on it. The Williams rule is based on the Holden in Florida State case of Williams versus Florida, 110 South 2nd 654, in which relevant evidence of collateral crimes is admissible at the jury trial when it does not go to prove the bad character or criminal propensity of the defendant, but is used to show motive. So all they got to do is just show a motive. Everybody on the planet got a motive to do something to any individual at any time. So that rule is there. Well, we can't prove you did it, but we just show you had a motive to do it, whether you did it or not. Okay. On January 27, 1992, Wuornos was convicted of Mallory's murder, which helped from Moore's testimony. At her, I thought Moore was executed. Okay. At her sentencing, psychiatrists for the defense testified that Wuornos was mentally unstable, which is obvious. I don't think she was mentally unstable. She was just destroyed as a woman. Mallory's murder with help from Moore's testimony. At her sentencing, psychiatrists for the defense testified that Wuornos was mentally unstable and had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder. 4 days later, she was sentenced to death. On March 31st, age 92, Wuornos pleaded no contest to the murders of Humphreys, Buress, and Spears, saying she wanted to get right with God. So you kill people by getting right with God. She wanted to get right with God by killing these two people for the damage that happened to her at the hands of her grandfather and possibly these men. I believe these men tried to rape her, but you used to go around killing men. Anyway, in June 92, Wallace pleaded guilty to murder of Kasakadan, and I know I chopped that up. In November 92, she received her 5th death sentence. The defense made efforts during the trial to introduce evidence that Mallory had been tried of intent to commit rape in Maryland. He had been tried for contempt. Because see, for some reason because what happened to her, either these men are drawn to her, or apparently these men are attracted to her. Because this Mallory man had been tried for intent to commit rape in Maryland, and that he had been committed to a maximum security correctional facility that provided remediation to sexual offenders. So he get remediation, but she gets nothing. So what does remediation mean? I know what it means, but I need a definition. So the action of remediating something, in particular of reversing or stopping environmental damage. The action of it, in particular, the giving of it, teaches them. So basically, the rapist, he goes to jail, and he gets, let me look at that word again, because the particular word I want to use. He gets remedial teaching or therapy. So the word I want to use is therapy. So he's provided therapy for raping these women. But what do these women get? Nothing. Record obtained from that institution reflected that from 58 to 62, Mallory was committed for treatment and observation resulting from a criminal charge of assault with intent to rape and receive an overall 8 years of treatment from the facility. He gets all the treatment, but this girl just gets thrown out into the woods, raped by her grandfather, made to be pregnant by her grandfather's close friend, whatever he was, associate. Then when her grandmother died, he threw her out to live in the woods with the animals. That's what she had to, because the only thing she knows is sex. So she goes to be a prostitute and gets money to feed herself. To say, do she get any therapy? No, she no therapy she got. Anyway, in 61, it was observed of Mr. Mallory that he possessed strong sociopathic traits. The judge refused to allow this to be admitted in court, as evidence and denied Wuornos' request for a retrial, showing that she was right. He did try to rape her. He did rape her and she killed him in self-defense. But what did the judge do? I will not allow this woman to get the treatment and therapy that she needs from what this man do to her. Therefore, I'm going to protect this man. I'm going to protect this rapist so I can put this woman in jail, so I can give her the death penalty. No sympathy, empathy whatsoever for the brutal treatment, sexually brutal treatment of a woman, of this poor little woman. Now, okay, in February 93, Wuornos pleaded guilty to murder of Antonio and was sentenced to death again. No charges were brought against her for the murder of Sims, as his body was never found. In all, she received 6 death sentences. You can only be put to death once. Okay. Wuornos. This word just drives me crazy.
Wuornos.
Wuornos told several inconsistent stories about the killings. You probably don't remember when you traumatized by what these men do and the fact that these men get therapy. When they are found to have actually done these things, they get remedial therapy. They get remedial. It's just therapy and what was the word? Remedial something. But anyway, they get the help they need, which is really don't change the fact that they're gonna do it again. Okay. Wuornos told several inconsistencies. She claimed initially that all 7 men had raped her while she was working as a prostitute, but later recanted the claim of self-defense. So why did she recant the claim of self-defense? Who knows? Citing robbery and a desire to leave no witnesses as the reason for murder. That don't sound right. Oh no, they didn't rape me. I robbed them because I didn't want to leave no witness. Leave no witness for what? That makes absolutely no sense. These men raped her as why she murdered them in self-defense. She could change her story and say, no, I didn't kill them because they raped me. I killed them because I didn't want any witnesses. Witness to what? Anyway, let's move it on. During an interview with filmmaker Nick Broomfield, when she thought the cameras was off, she told him that it was, in fact, self-defense, because it was. But she could not stand being on death row, where she had been for 10 years at that point, and wanted to die. After a while, the torture never ended for this woman. It just never, ever ended. Assessed using a psychopathic checklist, Wuornos scored 3240. 3240. So psychopathic checklist. The checklist evaluates individuals on a 20-item list of antisocial and interpersonal behavior, with each item being scored at 0. one or two, and thus a maximum score of 40, depending on locations and research perspective. Scores above 25 or 30 are consistent with a diagnosis of psychopathy. Whatever. Um, she got 32 out of 40. So, but you can't go above 25 or 30. With what happened to her, it would appear to make sense that she's a sociopath. She can't relate with society because of what society is doing to her. That space, she's in that space of where she only meets men that are like her grandfather. I'll be right back. I had to go close my sliding glass door. It's getting dark. So it stands to reason that she would fail just based on what happened to her. But anyway, execution. Now, Wuornos was incarcerated at the Florida Department of Correction, Broward Correctional Institution, on death row for women. Then abducted at the Florida State Prison for execution. Okay. Her appeal to U.S. Supreme Court was denied in 96. In 2001, petition to Florida Supreme Court. She stated her intentions to dismiss her legal counsel and terminate all pending appeals. I killed those men. She wrote, robbed them as cold as ice. She killed them and robbed them. I guess this is where Cardi B comes in there. She didn't kill them, but she robbed them as cold as ice. I don't know, but I don't know if they were cold as ice as Cardi. Like Cardi said, she drugged them, the alcohol, when they were feeling good. And then they wake up the next morning with their butt sore. So, these men might have been wrong. They weren't cold as ice. She robbed them as cold as ice. Cardi B robbed them and left them feeling good. Anyway, I see she's challenging this lady. The injustices that happened to this woman. Cardi B is bringing it out by, in these pictures, let me, okay, I think, yeah, in these pictures, right here. See what, look at this picture right here. This picture right here, these men, all of these are businessmen. And I wonder if there are 7 men. I think there are about 7 of these men. And these men don't look like they have no smile on their face. And where is she?
Press, 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 press. Cardi don't need more press. Press, 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 press. Cardi don't need more press. Press, 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 press.
Press. Cardi don't need no breast. That song make absolutely no sense to me. Okay, the next picture. Cardi at the press. Now look at these men. I guess he's the judge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 men here. And Cardi B, her fingernails. Yeah. Anyway, the look on these men's face, it's just, I don't know. Cardi says, wave it around, you just don't care. Okay, I don't know if these are the murdered men or the men in the courts. Anyway, now look how she's standing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cardi is in court with her hand on the Bible. So all these men have their hands like that. I absolutely don't know what that means. But I'm sure it means something. There are supposed to be 7 men, but there was only 6 she was charged with because they never found the body of the 7th or the first one, or whichever one it was. Anyway, Cardi says, press single drop Friday. They said this is already iconic. It is, because Cardi B is challenging this woman. Let's go to the next picture. Now it's her with the handcuffs around her hand and up against her neck, which is the same as the Aileen lady. Okay, you're not gonna reunite. She eats like poor working class people that think she's rich. So that's what it